Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got full rockin' my gun out there.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Oh, this hard goddamn work being this good.
One more again, see what I take on your front set, I swear.
You ain't my daddy, are you?
There's gonna be consequences and repercussions.
What time is it? Game time.
Okay, welcome again to the Don't Be Blasé podcast. We are coming to you live from the House of Pain, otherwise known as Snap Fitness in the Adelaide CBD. I'm your host, B. Caruana, joined as always by my man, Steve Burrows.
Hello there.
Very good, Stephen.
Yeah.
Before we get started, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Larry.
Spanx.
Yeah, Spanxer. Well, yeah,
Spanx.
when we go in there, we give them enough plugs. They should probably give us a bit of a spank. But anyway, sorry, Jez. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Larry and Lad. Go see the boys in Region Arcade, get yourself an awesome coffee and listen to some pretty sweet tunes. But for now, on with the show. Now, this is backed by popular demand by all 7 people that listen. We've dropped down to 7.
Oh.
Yeah, we've had a bad couple of weeks. Yeah, the ratings are in. It's not great. But we're going to bring back our stronger segment.
Yeah.
Stephen, give us a bit of launch out.
Yeah, I'll give you a bit of launch out. So, my boy turned 1 on the weekend.
Yep.
And so he threw a bit of a shindig for the young man. And so basically the reason why I've got the lawn how it looks now at the moment is because of this birthday we had for the little man.
Yep.
So we wanted to have it at my house, and we just had dirt. It was just a paddock up until that point. So I've been curating this lawn for some time to have it unveiled on Saturday.
Yes.
Thing is, it was going to be 35 degrees
Yes.
on Saturday, and we had about 40 kids coming.
Yep.
And to entertain kids, we thought we'd get a bigger, those bigger bouncy castles.
Yes.
Yeah, so which was cool. But then the wife come up
leaves a burn mark under the...
Well, that's the least of my problems, the burn
okay.
mark. The wife come up with the great idea that it's going to be 35 degrees. Let's get the water slide edition. Now, I had some warnings. Don't do it, Steve. Don't do it.
Don't ruin your lawn.
But, the wife rules the roost, and she made that call with or without mine.
So she put the importance of her young son
yes.
having a good day ahead of your lawn.
Oh, yes,
That's
that's
selfish.
right. I know, it is, right? So I begrudgingly accepted like I even had a choice. And, so the party you have, and these kids are maniacs.
Yeah.
When there's a birthday party and a water slide involved, all bets are off.
Oh,
man.
yeah, I know.
And if it wasn't bad enough they were hurting one another on the slide, they were trampling the shit out of my grass. And when you get lots of water on it, it just starts churning.
Yeah.
So,
See, if you were smart, you would have taken it old school. You would have given all the kids a lot of sugar and some cleats and just had them aerate your lawn. You know?
Yeah, nice.
Had them walking around, stabbing holes, get some air in there, really looking after having preserve the lawn.
Yeah. Well, it popped. Look, it's not too bad. It came up all right. There's a patch, probably 3x3 that looks a bit, worse for wear.
Yeah.
But I'm very confident it'll be back on the mend.
That's all right.
And
you can turn it around?
I think so. And I've just heard about a group, and I'm not sure if the listeners have heard about it, but there's actually a group out there on Facebook called Lawn Porn. Have you heard about this?
No, I like girls.
You keep telling me about how you like these girls.
Yeah.
Where are these girls you keep telling me you like?
Oh, they're around the place.
Around the place? Okay. Anyway.
Like I always say, I don't have a girlfriend. I just know a girl would get really mad if she heard me say that.
Does she listen to our show?
No chance.
No, thank God, because I know the wife doesn't either. So
I got better things to do. Now, Steve, we've had one request from a long-time listener, first-time caller. My man Darren likes to question your use of an electric mower on Santa Ana. Now, he feels like you need some sort of circular rotary engine over that type of grass, and he's kicked up a bit of stink because he also got a bit upset because we did mention that last week was going to be lawn chat, and we only gave him about 90 seconds of lawn chat. So Darren's been very upset. So Darren, we're going to get a bit more into this. So I've thrown your question out there.
Yeah.
Steve, how do you feel about using an inferior product on a superior lawn?
Look, it's been no secret that I'm ashamed of using the electric lawnmower. There's no doubt about it. But at the moment, it is what it is. I do intend to buy myself a petrol run.
Well, no. See, I can throw this out there because another long-time listener, first-time caller.
Okay.
My man Scott, I just trained then. He said that you can buy these electric lawnmowers these days.
Yeah.
They're cordless.
Nah, but there would be absolutely no power in there.
Oh no, it's steel brand. So that's that's pretty high quality. He goes, it's got
Steel,
a big
STIHL steel.
They'd send us out some free merchandise still. We're plugging in. Maybe send Steve one of these new lawnmowers.
Yeah,
apparently it's got a big battery pack on it.
Send one out and I'll do a review for you.
Yeah, and it plugs in the same way. It also transfers that big battery pack to their electric whippersnipper.
Oh.
So you've got all your goods in one. So
Yeah.
you were screwing your face up before, but it's a lot better than if you don't plug it into a wall, it instantly looks a lot more impressive.
Yeah, it is.
Now you're just sort of like, I could have a proper lawnmower, but I'm worried about the environment.
Yeah.
And you don't look like a knob plugging it into the wall.
I always said that was an environment thing, but let's face it looks like it's basically a vacuum cleaner at the moment. It's like a vacuum cleaner, and but look, it cuts the lawn. Look, I've got a beautiful lawn. What do you want me to say, man? And the lawnmower, it does the job.
But we need to see an update. We need to see a before and after.
Yeah.
Because we need to see how you had it looking before Saturday.
Yep.
And how it's looking since the nightmare that was 1-year-old birthday party.
Yeah, I could do that.
So keep your eyes peeled to the Facebook, guys. We'll keep you updated on Steve's lawn and all things lawn. Send in your lawn-related questions to our Facebook page, or just send them to me personally. I really enjoy reading them. I actually do, because it's always making fun of Steve and his electric lawnmower.
Yeah, and then he sends me a message and gives me a hard time about it. So anyway, send them through.
Yep.
Looking forward to seeing them.
But we're going to move on, because Steve, I'm a little bit concerned. We're going to talk about basketball, as we do on this show.
Yeah.
We do enjoy basketball. Now I'm concerned. Now there's always been 3 guarantees in life: death, taxes, and the Spurs winning. Now, currently, as we speak, as today, Tuesday, the Spurs are actually out of the playoffs in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
Now, I've always felt that's one of the signs of the apocalypse.
Yep.
I think the 4 horsemen are settling up, and I think the world's about to come to an end.
Yeah.
Because, Steve, what is going on with no Spurs in the playoffs?
It's mental. And, it's funny. Yeah, I log on to the Yahoo basketball scores, and then all of a sudden you can see these experts bagging on Pop.
Oh, no.
They said, dude, the same guys who call Melo cancer and this, that, and the other.
Well, they have half a point there.
Yeah, they do. That's like, you see what happens when Pop doesn't have all-stars on his team? Lousy coach,
Wow.
Man, these people are mental, man. It's like reading the YouTube. Have you ever read YouTube video comments?
Oh, YouTube
They are
comments.
the worst people in the world.
In general, when it comes to the internet, don't read the comments.
Yeah.
But I find myself doing it all the time. And then I've learned not to respond.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate when people are just really snarky on there. I enjoy watching trolls. But some people genuinely believe the dumb shit they write down in these comments, which is beyond me. But
It is mental. I mean, I always look at the conversations leading up to the games, when there's the big games on, and they bag out, like West Brick, for example, and Smello, and there's all this stuff. The same people are bagging out Pop.
Yep.
And look at the team, man. They haven't had their MVP candidate.
Well, they haven't had Kawhi.
Who's only played maybe half a dozen games. Yeah, and even LaMarcus didn't play today either.
No. And then they're doing without sort of Tony Parker's in and out of the lineup.
Yeah.
And Manu. Now, Manu's old.
Yeah.
But the thing is about Manu Ginobili, you can still trust him to win a game. To almost win a series.
Yeah.
He is that good a player. Like even last year when they lost when they got swept out by the Warriors.
Right.
He was the only one that made it look like they even had a pulse. He was just incredible. Like he's like 49 years old, I think now, and his hairline's even older.
His hairline.
But Manu is just one of the great. It's almost like Stevie J in the AFL. You put up with some really bad passes and some bullshit every now and then, but you'll also get some fucking moments of rare brilliance.
Stevie J, by the way. I do not like him whatsoever.
You do. I enjoy. You know me, I enjoy Scumbag.
Yeah.
I said, but the fact that when they won the grand final and he won Norm Smith, turns around and told the rest of the team to start calling him the reason.
Oh, did he? I didn't
because
know
he was
that.
the reason they won the
Oh, Stevie J. I felt like he was a very overrated footy player. Yeah, he's got the tricks. He's got the tricks.
That's what I'm saying. He's just a bag of tricks. He's a bag of tricks, and that's what Manu is as well. Is Manu probably as good a basketball player as Tony Parker? No. Tony Parker is one of the more underrated. If you think Manu's overrated or Stevie J's overrated, Tony Parker is probably one of the more underrated players of modern NBA history. No one ever mentions him when they talk about top 5 point guards, but the guy's won 4 titles.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I guess he's no frills. That guy, you know, he's
If you ever watch him play for France, and watch him play international basketball, and it's just him running the show and scoring at will.
Yeah,
you realise how good a player he is. But within that Spurs system where it's team first, he doesn't have to show off and do everything. You know, and it's a team function.
Yeah, I was watching him play the other day. They were playing. I can't remember who they were sucking anyway. They're playing against Houston or Golden State or something. I don't know. But Tony Parker, he's been coming off the bench lately, and you can see he has lost that step though.
Yeah,
he has flicked over, and the next generation's coming through. And
well, the big problem is, I think the biggest concern for any sort of Australian Spurs fan is the fact that Paddy Mills hasn't stepped up to what we thought he was going to be. So I thought he was going to seamlessly step into the starting lineup and just be that guy, but he hasn't quite been there for the Spurs this year. And obviously, being without Kawhi and stuff, there's a real danger of them not making the playoffs. I mean, at the moment they're tied. I mean, between 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. They're all actually on the same record, but at the moment they're on the outside looking in. I think it's because of division record or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a very real chance the Spurs aren't going to make the playoffs the first time in probably, I think it's like 20 years.
Yeah, so, and 3 weeks ago they were third.
Yeah,
and clearly third.
But that's the thing. You look at the Western standings at the moment. There's 2 games separating
the top 2.
Yeah, Houston and Golden State. Then there's 10 games between second place and third. You know, and then between third and 10th. You can throw a blanket on them. You know? And so it's like, I mean, like today, Thunder won and they're up to 4th.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just one win either way. So this is probably the most exciting last 2 weeks of a season I think we've had in recent memory.
Yeah, so what is it, like about 14 games left? Most teams have 15 games?
37 and 30 at the moment, so that's 67. So 15 games. Yeah, just over 2 weeks,
Yeah, so, all right, so do you think... Okay, so who are the teams? So there's the teams that are battling from 3rd to 10th. There's Portland, OKC, New Orleans, Minnesota, Spurs, obviously, Denver,
Utah, and the Clippers.
Now,
the Clippers are the team that everyone thought was going to just completely lose it after they traded away Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
And they've actually been playing better.
So who are the 2 teams that are not making it?
At the moment...
Who do you think will be the 2 teams who don't make it?
I don't think the Clippers will get in.
Yeah, okay, yep.
And...
See,
that's tough.
I know.
Because Utah's on a roll.
They are on a roll.
They are playing great team basketball.
And
they're almost like a new Spurs.
Portland have locked in. You know, they're like 3rd now.
Damian Lillard, if he'd been playing like this all season, would be like in the James Harden category. You know, like, of MVP discussion.
Yeah.
He's been incredible the last couple of months. But yeah, that's the thing. I can't see any of the teams dropping out. Who would I like to drop out?
Yeah.
I would love to see Denver in the playoffs. I'd love to see San Antonio in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the Clippers fall out. And I'd like to see OKC fall out.
Of course you would.
But that's just me, and I have a problem with OKC.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. That's like, because over in the East, it's set. We've got our 8. Unless there's a minor miracle happen, the 9th place is the Pistons, and they've got no chance of getting in now.
Far behind, yeah.
But now it's all it is seeding, because my man LeBron and his Cavs are now 4th in the East. This is not good.
And I'm telling you, man, that they're playing for home court now.
Yeah.
And they really are. And there's no guarantees they're going to get home court. And if they come 5th or 6th, it's a long way home.
That's a lot of road games. And that's the thing, like they're playing, at the moment they'd be matched up with Washington, which is a pretty tough matchup for them first round. They're not going to be sweeping through like they did last year.
And they're talking about John Wall coming back in the next game or 2. So
in fairness, I honestly think that makes Washington worse. But
probably. Yeah,
but I mean, the Cavs still have Kevin Love to come back. You know? He is an all-star. I think people forget that. He does get glossed over as
Kevin Love?
Yeah.
Oh, he played for Team USA, man.
Exactly.
He's brilliant.
But he gets glossed over, I think, sometimes when they just go, oh, it's LeBron's team, he's got all these players and this and that. It's like, well, any other team that was missing an all-star, and like an all-star from this year. Too. It's not like, oh, he was an all-star, in 2010?
Yeah,
you know,
that's
and
right.
He's this year's all-star, so then that's one of those things that, you know, that he's doing it without the second best player on the team.
Yeah.
But, you know, at the moment, the slide is pretty strong.
Yeah, well, I had a look at their schedule ahead, and they don't have a real tough schedule, Cleveland.
Yeah.
So, you know, all they got to do is play some decent basketball, and they should come in the top 4. But the thing is, if they come 4th, that means second round, if they get through like a Washington, they're going to play against Toronto, and Toronto are tearing it up.
They are.
So, and then if they get through Toronto, then they're most likely going to end up with Boston.
Oof.
And if Kyrie's fit, although that guy keeps falling apart, he's made out of paper mache, that guy, but that's going to be another tough.
Well, that's the thing. They say it's only 1 or 2 injuries can completely swing a series. because that was the big knock on the Warriors when they won their first title. Is that every playoff series they played, the other team was missing their point guard.
Right.
First season was I think it was Lillard. Lillard got injured. Then they played Conley. Conley got injured. Then they played who they played in the conference finals?
Would have been Houston or Spurs, wouldn't it?
Houston. Yeah. And they got through them. And then when they played Cleveland in the finals, Kyrie went out. Yeah. So it was one of those things like injuries, and I mean they're struggling too. Without Steph, they've lost their last 2 games.
Yeah.
And like Boston without Kyrie's nothing. Warriors, as good as they are, without Steph is a completely different team.
Oh, shit, yeah, it is.
So it's only going to take 1 or 2 injuries here or there to really swing these series. And at the moment, Houston's looking like there might be a chance.
I know, and I you know how much I don't like James Harden. You're on the same boat, and I just don't. Well, we were talking to the brother-in-law the other day, and he goes, we're getting to a point now where James Harden, we have to rank him probably in the top 5 shooting guards of all time.
Oof.
And that hurts to say that. But have a think about it, man. Have a think. They running them out, man,
Okay,
the
so you got top 2, MJ, Kobe.
Yeah.
3 and 4, me and you disagree on. I always go Jerry West, but you say Dwayne Wade. But those 2, I reckon, are locked in 3rd and 4th.
See, I don't know. See, Jerry West, to me, like I'm starting to discount those guys pre-80s,
Yep.
I'm starting... Jerry West, look, let's face it, he great player statistically, and I think he won the one title. He's one of those guys who won MVP when they still fucking lost the final series. But I'm kind of discounting them from now. I'm trying to consider the guys I actually did get a chance to see, and the guy who I did see was Clyde Drexler.
Ooh.
So I'm putting Clyde in 4,
4,
and James Harden is now knocking on 5. I don't know who else I'd put number 5 at the moment.
See, that's the thing. I would probably put Harden ahead of Clyde Drexler at this stage.
Yeah, wow. See, Clyde's won one title.
Yeah, he won
He
one.
made to the finals with his Portland team. He lost against the Chicago.
No, he made twice.
They lost against Pistons. Sorry, 2 years earlier. You're right. So you're right. So he made it then.
Yep.
Then he made it against the Bulls, lost against them as well.
Yep.
Eventually went to Houston, got himself one of the 2 titles when they won it.
Yep.
The dude was a 28-pointer guy, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Before LeBron was around, like, not that the same players, but the statistics,
Yeah, but it shows, because it used to be a bit of a glamour position, every team seemed to have a good shooting guard.
Yeah.
And that's one reason why I'm loving DeMar DeRozan at the moment, because he's sort of that throwback classic shooting guard, mid-range, doesn't just jack up threes like all the guys do these days. And he's not a point guard, he's a straight shooting guard. But where does someone, I don't know, like a John Starks fit into your top?
He doesn't. He fits around the same as J.R. Smith.
Come on,
somewhere in
I like my
the mid-60s or something.
Cult heroes. You know me. You need to have, actually, Handy, to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Then where do you put Reggie Miller?
Reggie, because he had some great moments and he had a great career.
He
top
took
20
a team
scorer
to finals.
Yeah, he would have went another year had they went 7 games with the Bulls.
Yep.
It was a massive. I remember I was 17 or 18 at the time. I remember just keeping up to date with it because we didn't get the games like we did these days.
Live,
and I remember my friend telling me, he was like, "Oh my God, he's gone to 7." It was just one of those things I expected Bulls, in those days you expect them just to go through the finals. When I was getting Game 7, I was sweating.
Getting nervous,
Like
I said, I was a Knicks fan back then because I hated the Bulls.
Yeah.
And he was routinely taking the Knicks to 7 as well.
Yeah.
He was and he was the only one on the player that team who could score.
Yeah, so he would, I mean, it's hard to do it, but he'd be probably top 10.
Huh?
People like Ray Allen would be knocking on the door somewhere, these guys who scored 20, 25,000 points are hard to ignore.
Exactly.
But, there's some other guys who made more of an impact with a shorter career. I don't know. I'd have to relook at it. But just thinking, James Harden, though, he would be...
He's really pushing
at the moment.
And if he misses out on MVP this year, you'd have to believe he's been pretty hard done by.
Well, who would win it, though?
It's up to him or LeBron. But
can you give MVP to LeBron, if they come in 4th in the East?
Well, because a lot of it, that's my issue with the MVP. They give it a lot based on stats. They gave it to Westbrook last year based on stats. And
that
he finished,
was rubbish.
6 or something?
Yeah, I know. That's rubbish.
And then, the years that Steve Nash won it, everyone knew Kobe was the best player.
But that's
Steve
the difference,
Nash had the most stats on the highest winning team, so you had to give it to the stats.
That's right. It's not the best player in the league. So if it's the best player, then LeBron would have won it for the last 10 years.
And Jordan would have won it every year.
Exactly, and it would have been different. But it's the most valuable player. Who's the most valuable player to their team's success?
Yeah.
James Harden, who's dropping 30, 10 assists. The dude, that one, they're going to win 60 games.
60-point triple-double as well.
Dude, yeah. So it's going to be hard. As much as I don't like it.
Playing NBA 2K on easy.
Yeah, exactly. But can you give a guy MVP if he doesn't play defense?
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's what that kind of grinds me a little bit, man. Like you're only playing half on the half of the court. Well, as impressive as it is.
In fairness, I will give James fairness that since they've gotten Chris Paul on the team, he has played a bit more defense because two reasons. One, Chris Paul will call him out if he doesn't play the defense.
Right.
And two, he's not required to be the entire offense, so he can actually use a bit more energy on defense. Whereas before last year, he was the offense. That was it. It was just give the ball to James and let him do something. So you can understand why he was resting on defense. But now, because if he doesn't want, if he doesn't want to have to take the ball up the court, give it to Chris Paul, and then he's driving around with it. So it's not all going through him these days. So then he's got a bit more room to move.
Sure. Do you see Westbrook got another triple-double today?
Don't care.
Yeah. I know, but that's the thing, the triple-doubles just don't mean what they meant in the old days.
Well, the triple-doubles meant a lot to me on the weekend because I have Anthony Davis on my fantasy team.
And you got a big one.
And he got a triple-double. No, 25 points, 13 boards,
but
10 blocks.
That's the one. That's what I mean.
That's a triple-double.
Yeah,
that's a good one. And he's had a couple of triple-doubles. For a big man, he's been incredible. I honestly think the Boogie Cousins triple-double that he had with the 44 points, 22 rebounds, and 10 assists, that's probably the most impressive stat line I've seen this year.
Yeah.
But, with Westbrook, it's just like, oh, fuck, I don't care. It was against the Nets, and he's just padding stats against the shit teams. I don't care. Let me see Westbrook beat a good team by himself, in a series, and I'll give him some credit.
Sure.
But until then, he couldn't even get past the Rockets last year.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say James Harden's your number one candidate for MVP.
Yep.
I can't, I still think LeBron's the best player in the league, but you can't give it to him.
But the thing is, no one else has played a full season. And like I said, Lillard's been incredible, but only for the last 2 months.
Anthony Davis
has been incredible, but he shared a lot of the load early in the year with Boogie.
Yeah.
So there's no one else really that's been that guy. So the only person you can really give it to this year. It's not going to be unanimous.
No.
But James is going to win it.
Yeah, and I think he'll win it by clearly as well. Yeah. I think he'll have a good...
But this is the big thing that makes me interested. It's the last thing we'll say about basketball, about the NBA for now, is the fact that will they be like all the Phoenix teams, won all the regular season games, and then shit the bed in the playoffs?
Yeah,
that's what I'm interested to see. That's the only thing that's keeping you holding on to the playoffs this year, and I'm so excited for the playoffs.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I'm excited about finals, and not NBA finals.
Okay.
NBL finals, because the Adelaide 36ers, the mighty Sixers, the most frustrating team in the history of sports, second actually probably to the Socceroos, but they are playing Melbourne United, which is the shittest team name ever.
Yeah, it is. It's in
the NBL Grand Final, and they're doing a 5-game series this year.
Wow, I don't not even know that the NBL still exists. I mean, I know it exists, but I do not follow it one single bit.
You need to get back into it, Steve, because it's actually hitting a bit of a renaissance. It's a bit like, back in the 90s when we watched it and stuff like that. And it was sort of like, when the NBA is big, it flow on. Yeah. And the same way with, we're big wrestling fans. When the WWE is doing really well, it helps with the local product.
Yeah.
Same thing goes with the NBA and the NBL. So at the moment, there's teams that are drawing routinely in the high thousands. Let's say at Adelaide Arena, we're getting, almost full houses for every game.
That's very
Not
cool.
just in the playoffs and stuff like that, but throughout the regular season too. Melbourne, they're doing those open-air stadium games, which are really, really cool to see.
Yeah.
Really good visual on the screen too. Yeah. And Perth, as always, is drawing 12,000 to a game.
Wow, that's
And
impressive.
the fact that we knocked them off by a point in Perth to advance to the finals is very exciting for everyone.
Well, my friend Brett, he's actually said, he pretty much said exactly what you said. Yeah. He goes, you're watching it? I said, look, dude, I have no interest. He goes, dude, it's making, he goes, the guy who runs the NBL, the owner, he said, he switched on, he knows what's going on.
Well, the thing is, they've expanded. When we used to watch it, it was the 2 import rule.
Yes.
Now they have 3.
Yes.
But they don't overdo it. They've still got plenty of local talent, and the 3 import rule. And that's the reason why we brought on someone like Tyrese Ferguson last year, because it wasn't going to take one of the important spots and we could develop a kid,
Yeah.
But the way the game's played these days, like I said, like with the NBA being just a 3-point shootout these days, to watch NBL be a bit of a 3-point shootout, it's not too far different, because of the spacing, it allows the guys to actually dunk more because there's more room, and so it's actually one of those things where it's actually sort of made the game a bit better locally is the fact that, these guys are getting so much better at shooting threes.
Yeah.
It's spreading the floor, and the game's not too dissimilar to what you get from an NBA product.
And when does the final start?
Friday night.
Okay.
Over in Melbourne. Now, they do a 1-1-1-1-1 format.
Okay.
Which is really bizarre for me.
Is that because it's only an hour flight, I guess? They probably can.
From here to Melbourne, it's
when
not
you're
too
going to
far.
go from, Oakland to Cleveland, that's a 5-hour flight.
Well, even if you had to do like back and forth to Perth, you'd understand they might spread it out. But for the Adelaide series, it's first game's in Melbourne, then we get one, so we're the second. We finish second.
When's our home game? Sunday, is it?
Sunday, I think. Yeah.
Oh, no. Which means, are you going to be able to catch that game?
Oh, no. It's be the following Friday, I think.
So they got a week off?
Yeah, I think they get like a couple of days between games. It's a weird scheduling.
So the first game's Friday this week?
Not this week, I think.
Oh.
I don't know. Don't quote me on anything. But
okay.
I know there's a bit of a gap between games, but
Okay.
I know we do have a home game, but I think it's on a Friday, and I can be there. So
Okay, and you will be there?
I will be there. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'm excited.
Remember that time that we went down? Remember that time? I think we
almost got kicked out of corporate blocks.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that was one. Yeah.
That's the one. And we were one of not many people there from memory.
That's right.
And you were on to Jace
Mitch Creek.
And you're like, he's my guy.
He's
my
my boy
guy.
back
This
then.
is when he was a rookie.
Yeah, he was my boy back then.
Would he be a captain or something?
He was captain, and he's still one of our best players.
Is he?
He won the People's Choice MVP.
The People's Choice.
Yeah, they had the NBL awards last week, and he won the People's Choice.
Oh,
He
good
didn't
on
win the
him.
actual MVP. They went to a guy from Perth.
Yeah.
But he won the People's Choice. So
Oh, wow.
I was on him early, mate.
You were. I remember. Yeah, it was. I remember we went and it was half stadium full, and it was pretty miserable.
It was a few years ago, but like I said,
That was 10 years
you need to come in and see it again.
Okay.
The quality's really picked up, and just the atmosphere. When you're at a packed,
Of course.
Clipsal Powerhouse, as I'll call it, because that's where I grew up.
Clipsal, that's right.
It's the shit. It's really, really good. So you got to go check it out.
All right.
But Steve,
Yo.
it's another time for an exciting thing going on.
Yep.
It's WrestleMania season. Now, this used to be cause for celebration for guys like you and I.
Yeah.
Now, let's be honest, I don't even know who's wrestling, and I don't really know what's going on. But today, on the old Facebooks, this is why I catch up with all my wrestling stuff.
Yeah.
There was a very, very good promo from John Cena, hyping up a possible match, which obviously is going to take place because they wouldn't mention it otherwise, with The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Now, as you said, as soon as you saw the promo, this would have been really cool in 2004.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy John Cena's ability to get personal and spicy in a promo because he knows he can get away with it.
Yeah, he can. He can do what he wants. Yeah,
and so when it comes to his promos, because I enjoyed, like I said, when he did the ones with The Rock and he was getting snarky.
So good.
And then he does these sorts of things because he can get away with it, and he's got a lot of charisma, he's got a lot of personality. And so, but where do you rate John Cena in the top talkers, like top promo guys all time in WWE?
Oh, he's definitely, for me, top 3 somewhere.
Top 3?
Yeah, but look, I mean, for a guy whose wrestling ability is somewhat limited,
very. Yeah.
Just everything from the lockups, that weird kind of hand thing he does, like he's doing
he's trying to be fancy, but it's like you're actually not good at it.
He looks like he's trying to do the ghost thing with Patrick Swayze. You know? He's making
trying to make him play.
Yeah, that's what he does. He kind of gets in real tight. The way he takes things like hip tosses and bumps, he just looks
doesn't
awkward,
bump well, no.
And there was a funny little video is of this little fella, and he goes, the moment when you find wrestling's fake, and the kid's watching Cena, and he's cheering, and then he does that,
5-knuckle shuffle,
and he misses by about a foot, and then it's in slow-mo,
cuts
and
to the kid,
and you see him like torn up, things like that. Cena, like, he's not a technician by any stretch.
Oh, no.
So what got him over was those very entertaining promos, which started back in the old days when he did the Thugonomics thing.
Yeah, the hip-hop character was very,
which got
very
really good.
That got over very big.
And then as time went on, he's just so good at it, so confident. And with The Rock, he actually tore The Rock up.
I think he did too.
He won that.
I gave him the nod on a lot of those
Definitely.
promos. Because that's the one thing, because a lot of people go, where do you rate The Rock as the greatest promos? I'm like, it was cool at the time.
Yes.
But I look back at them now a little bit and I get a bit cringy because it's just like I don't know, he had a formula after a while and just kept going through.
He called out the catchphrases.
He called out the catchphrases. He always did the impersonations of the other wrestlers.
Which were pretty good.
They were good. Like I said, but you watch them now, I'm just kind of like, it's not as clever as I thought it was.
What about remember when he came back recently, the Cena run, and Vicky Guerrero, and he did the song to Vicky Guerrero. Did you ever see that?
No, I didn't.
It is really good.
Yeah.
It is really good enough to, later on years down the track, I actually looked it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Just to see if it was really good. And it is really good.
Because I remember one of my favourite ones when he made his first comeback from movies and stuff.
Okay.
And he was coming out in the leather pants and the leather vest. And he was singing, and I just remember because I'm a huge Lakers fan.
Yeah.
And they're in Sacramento, and he did a song called "Leaving Sacramento." Yeah. Sacramento, I won't stay. Maybe I'll come back when the Lakers beat the Kings in May.
That's right.
That popped me huge. So The Rock, like I said, but then a lot of the other sort of like one-on-one matches and stuff like it just became I'll just say something really, really funny.
Yeah.
And it was like you enjoyed him, but I couldn't tell you what the matches were about because it just became him just entertaining.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, that's what you want. But I like some of the promos when you know they're centered on a specific person and a specific rivalry.
Sure.
Something that's going to draw me into it. Like I said, I enjoy the entertainment factor of watching him talk, but I don't remember who he was wrestling, why he was wrestling them, or, nothing that he said made me want to go watch their match.
Right.
Which is what essentially a promo is supposed to
That's
do.
exactly right. Selling tickets. That's right. So, so Cena, and he did a really good one recently with Roman Reigns.
Yes.
And Roman Reigns is known for his lack of
talking ability,
and Cena was so good that he actually drew out the best in Roman Reigns.
Yeah, when he gets spicy, mate, he gets personal,
He did.
And then that's what really wins him over.
But that's the best part about it is that him and the Miz, their whole little rivalry last WrestleMania was built on truths.
Yeah.
So it's all like we say wrestling is fake and stuff, but the rivalries
are very real.
And they do exist backstage.
Yeah, because you've got a lot of really competitive guys and girls in a competition for popularity, which isn't decided entirely by them. So, you're very vulnerable. So it's one of those things, sort of situations, if you've ever been in a wrestling locker room, there's always a bit of banter, there's always a lot of bit of competition, and some of the jokes can go back and forth, and you kind of mean it, you kind of don't, but it's, it can be a bit of a snake bit sometimes, and it's fun, it's sort of fun to watch. So whenever we see stuff like that, like as wrestlers, we get a bit excited, because that's that one's a bit of a home truth there, and it's always fun to see.
And it's interesting that the one that you come out with The Undertaker, that seemed pretty real.
Well, the Instagram line alone popped me huge. That was very good. Like the fact that you can't be too broken down if you're posting workout videos on your wife's Instagram. Now that, like I said, he obviously had that one set up, and he had that one in the back pocket ready to go. But that is a very good line, and I really appreciate. Like I said, stuff like that you relate to. An actual match will always win me over.
So the question is like that these guys will meet before the match at one point in time or another. Like when I mean meet, I mean not in the ring and not doing the whole pull away and they want to fight and all the official. I'm talking about behind curtains. Yeah. There's going to be some. They're businessmen, but there will be a bit of awkwardness. Surely there has to be.
Well, there has to be, but purely because The Undertaker's had such a strong character.
Yeah.
And he's never had his character brought into question.
Oh.
Ever.
Yeah, well put.
Even so much so that they never ever put him on DVDs, like interviewing him or whatever. They did, I think, for the most recent Triple H video. But that was about it. He's never been on screen as anything other than The Undertaker.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where if you're starting taking pot shots at the man,
yeah,
then that's, disrespecting the character a bit too much.
Exactly.
I want to see what happens when it goes through with that. Like I said, they've got me hook, line, and sinker now. I wasn't even going to watch WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I'm not even watching for that match. I just want to see all the lead-in going through.
I watch WrestleMania every year.
Yeah.
And I try to watch Royal Rumble every year as well. And I watched Royal Rumble this year, and it was pretty crud.
Yeah.
The actual Rumble match.
Yep.
And the women's match though.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, leading into this WrestleMania, like you, I was, I'll watch it just cause.
Yeah.
But I was not excited.
Yeah.
I'm not excited about it. But Cena, you got me over the line half hour ago.
Because you talk about your best, like I say, we're going to run down your top three.
Yeah.
You said you put him in your top three. Who else rounds out your top three? And none of them in order.
Yeah. Okay.
But just your top three.
Just based on from memory, and I do have a pretty shitty memory. I'm going to say Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yep.
I think he did some really good things. And when I mean promo, are we talking just talking, or are we talking about just, for example, when he drives the car, the milk truck down,
yeah,
and the beer truck, or whatever it was, or when he was in the hospital with Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Does that include in your promos? Are you running with that, or are you just talking? Are you just saying talkers?
I would almost give that. Yeah, if you've got a good sketch
sketches,
as well, yeah, I'd give you that as well.
Okay. Other guys I do like, just don't put your pen to paper yet, but Roddy Piper I always thought was really good.
Yep.
Ric Flair was really good.
Yep.
Hogan, as corny as he was really really good, man. You know,
you're the kind of guy that likes Warrior too. Right?
No, I did not like Warrior. He was the Hogan's enemy.
Oh, that's right. You're a big Hogan.
Scott Hall and Kevin Nash when they did the NWO thing, I thought they were really cool. The Rock was good. Oh, it's hard to get that third spot though, man. You know, Cena and Austin, I think, would be in there. I
know you want to give it to Hogan.
Nah.
I know you want to give it to Hogan.
I want to give it to Hogan. I can't. Oh, shit. I'm going to say Piper. I like those Piper's Pits. I do really like watching the old stuff, and I always will go back to Piper's Pit. I'm sure you always have good lists, man. I'm keen to hear your three now, because I'm going to go, fuck, why don't I pick him now? But at the moment, that's what I'm going with. Cena, Austin, and Piper.
That's good. That's a solid three. No one's going to ever critique that list. You know? Like I said, when you narrow it down to
now, who you got, man?
when you narrow it down to top three, obviously, there's always going to be people that are going to miss out. And like I said, all the names you mentioned, they're huge. Number one for me is going to be Austin again.
Yeah.
So, like I said, for me, I couldn't tell you my top three Austin matches off the top of my head. But I could tell you my favorite Austin promos or moments, you know, and so I've always said it, I've said it a couple of times, but the Zamboni one, when he drove the Zamboni to the ring, ran across it, jumped in the ring and tackled Vince, you know?
Yeah.
I consider that a promo.
Yes.
You know, like that is...
The Tyson one. I thought that was
the Tyson
really
Austin
cool.
one. You know, like his stuff with Shawn Michaels, like leading him for that, like all their promos there. Just the intensity of it, like you remembered what he was going to do based on that, you know, and like you remember based on what he said, what was going to happen, and then blah, blah, blah. And then he always did some of the entertaining ones as well, you know, and like the Rock did. He did that one with him and the Rock sat in the ring and stood in the ring and sang Margaritaville.
Okay.
You know, and that was funny, you know, and that's a good one. He did the when he invented the What promo.
Sure.
When he did the...
Which still exists now.
It's still a thing, which is really annoying. It's one reason why you cannot talk on a live wrestling show, because the crowd will chant What at you. And the other one I really loved when he said, I'm going to tell everyone a story. And he starts to tell the story as, I'm not going to tell you about a man named Jed. Poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed. And he goes through the whole theme song to the Beverly Hillbillies and doing it line for line with the what's in between it. Yeah. And then if he goes, I'm not going to tell you that story. You know, like it was very clever. Like when he wanted to do the entertainment stuff, you know, like with all the stuff with Kurt Angle and the guitars and that sort of bullshit backstage, he could do the funny, he could do the entertaining. Yeah. But if you watch the stuff that when he first became Stone Cold, especially the ECW stuff, when he was intense and he really wanted to get a point across, Austin will always get number one for me.
Yeah.
Number two is Flair.
Okay.
Because as we all know, I am the biggest Ric Flair fan going around. I think he's incredible. And it's always the same thing. I remember it's in one of his books and it made me laugh because it's like he was friends with the mayor of some town or whatever. And you know, he'd met the mayor and his wife and met them as himself, you know, as Ric Flair at some gala event, and they got along really well. Anyway, the wife apparently is watching TV and Ric Flair's on TV, shirt open, he's screaming at the camera and blah, 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 and she goes, honey, Rick looks really upset on TV. He looked at the TV and he goes, oh no, he does it every week.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lot of the same thing, you know, and always just getting really excited and blah, 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 but it was just like, even every time you watch it, you can't turn away from it.
I never understood how he had sometimes he had bleeding in his mouth and shit.
Yeah, he must have bit into his gum, but he was just always so intense and so exciting.
It was amazing.
Some of the lines, like I've even pinched some of the stuff he says and used it today. Like my favourite is when he'd get some girl heckle him or whatever, and he'd go, "Look, I'm not going home with you, honey, no matter what you say to me."
Yeah, nice.
There's shit that you can use to this day, and he was really smooth. Knew what his character was, stayed in character, and always went that way. So that's why he would get number two for me.
He's obviously popular enough to be in a hip hop video lately.
Oh yeah, Ric Flair drip.
Yeah,
he's probably the most referenced wrestler in hip hop tracks. Yeah, like he even other than the songs I've named after him. But yeah, he gets a lot of mention, even in like New God Flow.
Yeah, New God Flow.
Yeah, he's on that one as well. Like they mention him in a lot because he's just, like I said, he had that character and he plays that character that everyone wants to. Like I said, it's who's the most popular characters? The guys the girl wants to be with and the guys want to be.
Yeah,
and he's always been that guy. You know, I mean, like who wouldn't want to be him for a day?
A man's man, one might say.
Guaranteed. He probably doesn't know how to work a lawnmower in fairness. So you get over the line there. And number three is going to be tough for me because I do want to put John in there. I do love Cena. I do love the work of Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
What we said, it's corny as shit, but I do enjoy his work. But for me, I'm going to go with Mick Foley.
Okay, yeah.
I enjoyed Mick's promos purely because I've seen a lot of the stuff.
It came out left field for me.
It did, yeah, no. Because I didn't mention I kept it in the back burner.
Yeah, you do
but
that.
But for me, like I said, he tells stories, and I like guys that tell stories. And with his promos and stuff like that, and to get over 3 different types of characters, when he like in his sort of peak, when he had the Dude Love, the Cactus Jack, and the Mankind, and they all had different characters and they all had different promos, but they all made sense. So he was quite good at doing the promos and talking about what he was going to do. That's what I enjoyed because he would tell the stories. Because you can see, like, if he believed in what he was saying, and that translated into he believed what he was doing, and that's what gets him a following. You know, like so many people just talk and say cool shit, but they don't believe it. Yeah. So the crowd's not going to believe it, and that's the reason why a lot of promos these days you see they're just reading a script, and so the crowd's not going to buy into it because they can tell they're reading a script. Yeah. But with him, you could tell he was saying something that he meant, even if it was bad. You knew he meant it, you know, and so that's why it rings a bit truer. So that's why I've always enjoyed that sort of stuff for me. So Foley, and like I said, he came out of left field, but he's going to get number 3 for me.
So, a couple of things I want to say. One was him and The Rock did some really funny stuff when they did that Rock and Sock connection. That was hilarious. Second thing is, I actually never knew him before the WWE. I didn't, because I never really did the ECW thing, so I didn't know the Cactus Jack, Dude Love. I only knew really Mankind when him and Undertaker were kind of feuding. And it was really weird. He was always in the boiler room. It was kind of fucking weird, but it was really good. It kind of really dragged me in. Third thing is, I want to ask you, looking at our lists, I've got Cena, who, has been around since 2000. Yep. Austin in the 90s, Piper in the late 70s, 80s, and 90s. You got Austin, Flair, again, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Yeah, man, he went through all the way. Mick Foley's majority 90s, early 2000s. Guys, I don't see anyone from today. No. And is that because, quite frankly, one, they're just not as good, or two, they are just... It's just the format. They've been, it's just like... So when The Rock comes back, do you think they give him a script?
Oh, no.
Probably not.
Cena doesn't get the script. Yeah. Rock doesn't get the script. I think for the most part now they let Miz go.
Okay,
because he is quite good, but he's just not my favourite. He's very, very good, and he's a good talker. Yeah. But just not my favourite.
No. But things like Seth Rollins and these... When they talk, I'm like, it's so contrived. It's so like...
You can tell they get told... Because it's like the commentators get told to talk in sound bites.
Right.
And hit this point and say this and say that. And so you can tell they're just rehearsing essentially what they can say, but they're not certain. So that's why it doesn't, like I said, they don't believe it, so it doesn't ring true. Exactly. It's the same thing. Like if you don't believe in your character, like it's to a smaller extent. Wrestled on the weekend, as you know, quite successful show. Thanks to everyone that came. All
was it?
That was a good show. A decent crowd.
Yeah.
For a very, very hot night.
Yeah.
But the kid that I was wrestling, we did a 3-round match. Like he's British, so we wanted to do like a World of Sport sort of style wrestling match with the 3-minute rounds. Keep it simple. And I just told him, like, this is your gimmick. You're trying to be this British wrestler. You've got to believe that you have finally, because he said the last 2 shows he'd pinned me, and everyone knows I'm twice his size and I'm the established wrestler. I should be able to kill him whenever I want to. So I finally get a match with him one-on-one, but it's under his rules. I said, so if we're in the match and you're just running away from me the whole time, what was the point of you setting that match? And this is supposed to be your time to shine. So I said, you need to believe that you're a superior wrestler to me when it comes to catch-as-catch-can wrestling, and I'm just going to try to beat you up.
Yeah, sure.
And that's what flowed through. We did, and you would have loved it, we did a yellow card system.
Yeah, I saw that on the
told off by the ref, yellow card. 3 yellow cards, DQ'd.
Nice.
So the end of the first round ended with him getting me in like an armbar triangle thing, and I pick him up. So he's standing, so he's up on my shoulder. He's sort of sitting on my shoulder, wrapped around one arm. Clock expires. Ref's like, put him down, put him down, put him down. Traditional wrestler mode. Just powerbomb him down to the floor. Get yellow carded for it. The crowd's like, oh, come on. It was just like we hooked him from that moment there. Like he was using his traditional wrestling that he believed in, and he was getting ahead on points basically because I had to go the cheap route because I wasn't as established wrestler as he was. So it worked. It really worked. Like I said, it was a simple story, and we both bought into what was going on, so the crowd could buy into what we were doing. Whereas, like I said, like with some of the stuff, like if you're doing scripted promos, you're doing what you're told, not doing what you feel, and that's the biggest difference.
Well put. Again, well done. Yeah, you're always good at explaining that stuff, man. I've never been able to. I might have a similar
Mindset.
But yeah,
Can't put it
you
into
did that
words.
No.
I'm good at talking, Steve. I don't know if you noticed. Yeah.
No, work that out.
Yeah. But that's going to be us for this week, guys. So don't be afraid to send in your questions or any comments that you need to send to Steve in regards to the lawn. He takes it all on board. But that's going to be us for this week, guys.
Can I tell them the joke?
Yeah, go for the joke.
I try to get... I'd like a bit of feedback about this, guys. So I try to feed Spee a joke for him to say last week, and he shot me down.
Yeah.
So basically, he was going to call it... What do you call it? What's our segment called?
So it's lawn chat, and he wanted me to call it yawn chat.
No, but you had to say the first bit. You have to say... You mean yawn chat? Just get a bit of feedback on that, guys, because I thought it was quality and
I also think it's rubbish. So obviously, top 3 promos of all time. Steve is not going to be in it. But that's going to be us for this week, guys. Thanks for listening. Remember to subscribe to the podcast and tell your friends. Get them to subscribe too. We need as many people as we can. But for Speaker, I want to say goodbye. For Steve Burrows,
see you later.
We'll speak to you next week. Peace.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.